Hi, Steve Arterburn here, and thanks for joining me for Going Deeper. I hope we're going deeper. You know, a lot of people, they don't even know what a soul is. And so they've never gone deep enough to even figure out what is your soul. And you know, it's everything you are, really are. It's not the fake stuff. It's not what you're trying to look like, but it's that stuff in you. It's your character. It's the way you think and feel. All of that stuff. And by the way, anytime you're doing some character work, you are building something that's going to last for eternity because that's your soul. So a simple way to kind of think about what my soul or who my soul is to think it's your character. But it's much more than that too. So we've been talking about the soul, matters of the soul. And the last time I talked about purpose in general to glorify God. That is what the soul, that's what we're for, and your soul wants that. And so let's talk about purpose from the perspective of a particular purpose, a unique purpose for you, not the grand purpose of glorifying God and loving people well with the right motives. So how do we figure out what my particular purpose might be? Well, let me tell you, I have 2 bonus sons. I married my wife. We're a blended family, and we've been married almost 16 years. So she brought 2 boys to the marriage. I brought a girl, Madeline, and we had 2 children together. Carter and James are the oldest kids. Carter is on a mission to preserve museums forever. He's part of a virtual museum project. He will go, they asked him to go to Rome. He went to Rome and took like one statue. He would take 1,200 pictures, puts it into a computer program. And now you can create this 3-dimensional image that you can manipulate, or you could literally print the statue out on a 3D printer. And so he has a strength of perseverance, got to be able to do 1,200 photographs. He has that strength, but he also is a great photographer. He developed that very young. And so that's his purpose right now. He doesn't know if it's his lifelong purpose, but right now he's using these interests, these talents, skills to go and do this amazing work of preserving these fantastic sculptures in museums. He went to Berlin. He's going to Beverly Hills next. Really fascinating. His brother, James, totally different. James wants to do something in service to the Lord. So he is in graduate school. After getting a degree in nonprofit management, now he's getting a master's degree in not-for-profit management or nonprofit management, and he is saturating himself in the Chinese language. Now, can you imagine? He's one of the brightest guys. I think he's got a 4-point-some-odd grade point average. What's going to be like if some ministry gets a hold of him? The international outreach that they may be able to do because of these talents and skills and interests. 2 very different boys from the same family going different directions, and I think they're both living into their purpose because they know their strengths, their talents, their gifts, and they're using them. I'll tell you another thing you don't usually hear about when you're thinking about purpose, but we have to look at our sensitivities. What is it that makes me cry, perhaps? What am I sensitive to? What really moves me when I hear about it? You know, is it, I can't imagine a child not being born? Or is it, I can't imagine a child that's born not having food? Or I can't imagine the abuse of a child. Whatever it is, you develop a passion for it because you're sensitive to that area. After I went through just a hellish existence without having purpose or meaning, and I was helped so much and restored, I developed a sensitivity to other people that are struggling. And so I wanted to help people, and I'm so grateful that I'm able to do that through New Life. It's a sensitivity. So what are you sensitive to? What really creates a feeling within you? Could be a feeling of excitement or sadness, compassion, empathy. We have to pay attention to that. And then, do you have some gifts? You know, there are spiritual gifts, supernatural gifts. A supernatural gift means you can do something better than somebody else, not because you're brilliant or you've practiced really hard, but you have a gift. And, you know, like for me, it's a gift of hospitality. I can't take credit for being the person that arranges the guest bed and all this stuff. It just comes natural. It's what I want to do. So we have to think about, you know, what are my strengths? What are my sensitivities? What are the gifts that I have? What makes me feel fulfilled? What gives me the greatest feeling of fulfillment? You know, Solomon refused to be manipulated by our consequences and refused to be manipulated by the rewards of good behavior. He wanted his motivation to be within himself. And that kind of motivation, see, never goes away. The benefit's going to be temporary. But his benefit and what he's doing could last forever. So Albert Schweitzer, Nobel Prize winner, 1952. He was a medical missionary to the sick and dying in Africa. He was a godly man. He served. And in the midst, close to the end of his life, he was really sick and dying. And he wrote this, and I just think it's absolutely profound. At that point in life where your talent meets the needs of the world, that's where God wants you to be. So do you have talents that meet the needs of the world? Do what we try to do at New Life, what I've tried to do, find a need and fill that need. I'll tell you a need that I've been trying to fill for probably 7 years, and I can't get funding for it. It's a place where these guys that are anywhere from 17, 18 to 30 are living back home in the basement or the room they grew up in. They're failure to launch. And I want to create a leadership institute for them where they're no longer failing, but they're becoming leaders. So that's a need. At one point there was a need for Christian psychiatric care. We know a lot of us Christians are nuts, and we need the care of a psychiatrist. But there was little trust for the secular psychiatric world. So we put Christian programs in secular psych hospitals, and they had the best care ever. So that was a need, and we were able to fill that need. Promise Keepers was a great movement of men, and I said, you know, there's a need for this for women. And we created Women of Faith. Life Recovery. There were great Christians recovering, but they didn't even know it was all biblically based. And they wanted something to integrate their recovery stuff with the Bible and their beliefs and their faith. And so we created the ultimate big book, Dave Stoop and myself, the Life Recovery Bible. Every man's battle. Oh my goodness. There was a need. Somebody needed to speak up and write about and put into the world some helpful information on how do we counter this horrific pornography problem and lust problem in the world. And so Dave Stoop and I did it. Fred Stoker and I did it. So finding needs, filling the needs, so fulfilling for me. I'm not confused about what God has called me to be. There's a great story of a gentleman, faithful gentleman in the Catholic faith, who, the guy's a billionaire. And due to his strong faith, he felt like he should resign from running the pizza company and go be a missionary in Africa. So he gets to Africa and he becomes this missionary. and he realizes he is the worst missionary that's ever been missioning ever. And so he folded up shop, moved back to the States, and said, here's what my calling is. It's not to be a missionary. I'm not very good at it. My calling is to make a ton of money and give it so people that are called to be missionaries can go be great missionaries. Isn't that great? So we can make mistakes in finding our purpose, but if we'll continue to search, we can get back on track with what God wants. So what is it that brings you, like, let's use the term gladness. You're glad you did that. You're glad that somebody benefited. What is it that awakens you? The thing that you think about, and it just, boy, when you're doing that, you're excited. I'm not talking about Monday Night Football. I'm talking about something of meaning and purpose. And then, is there something in life, some big lesson that you've learned or something that you've experienced? And that's, maybe you could use that to help other people. Or just simply, is there something you're so interested in that you think your life is going to be incomplete if you don't fulfill it and go out and try to do it? You go over all those kinds of things, and you might end up with a better vision of who you are and what God has equipped you to do. And then you're living with purpose. Now, I had this little saying, I love hurting people. Our New Life loves hurting people. We love hurting people. But what I'm saying is, if you're hurting, we love you and we want to help you. But it is in the hurt many times that we truly are experiencing who we really are. And it's out of that hurt that we might decide, I want to find something better, something of meaning and purpose. And we start to live into that reality. That's what I'd love to happen with you. So look for this book, The Soul of a Hero. I think you'll like it. If you want a free restoration Bible, it's stevesocial@newlife.com. Just email me. I'll send it to you free. My gift, my way of saying thank you. If you need help, call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.